Guys, before you go into the live vlog, we'd just like to take this time to promote a book called Tales from the Pitch, or a series of books. And I was contacted by Daisy from Ransom Publishers, and they said that they're an independent publisher who specialises in literacy and books for people who don't like or struggle with reading, and they mainly sell to schools, bookshops and prisons. And they published a series of easy-to-read, fictionalised biographies of exciting footballers, and they've called it Tales from the Pitch. Now, because it's mcfcfantv, she sent me 2 copies, and this is one of the editions, which is about Raheem Sterling. So these books, I think, are really important. I obviously believe, I love reading myself, and I think literacy is really important. The age range is between 7 and 14 years of age, but if you are an older person who struggles reading, they're perfect for people with dyslexia and other things that make people struggle to read as well. They're 120 pages long, and the recommended retail price is $6.99. Now, there is Van Dijk, Gnabry, Mbappe, Rashford, Kante and Lewandowski in the series alongside Raheem Sterling. So there are other different books, whether you don't have to be a supporter of Manchester City to read them. You can read the exciting biographies, fictionalised ones about other players as well. But Daisy kindly sent me 2 copies. What we're going to do is I'm going to read one of them, and then we're going to give both of them away and to somebody who deserves it. So please, 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 all the details will be below, and you can get in touch with Ransom Publishers and order your copy online. So we wanted to do something that would assist them in pushing and promoting this book. Anyway, hope you enjoy it, and we'll let you know more about when these brilliant ideas for books and for reading become available as a prize. But anyway, Sandy from mcfcfantv, take care, and we're over to the vlog.
Hi guys, my name is mcfcfantv. How are we all doing? Welcome to our latest edition of the Empty Seat Show. Guys, as you just saw there, and the introduction on these amazing books, please go over, show your support and buy one. They are absolutely fabulous. So let's get into the latest edition of the Empty Seat Show with myself, Doom, and Mr. Ginger Gloom over there. How you doing, buddy?
Very well, mate. I've been laughing all weekend. It's been a great weekend.
Was it?
Yeah, every time I felt down, I just remembered your FIFA performance, mate.
We're not
cheered me right up, mate. Oh. So do you want to know about tonight's guest?
Yeah, go on.
Well, tonight's guest was born in Abu Dhabi, and he has seen City play at the Etihad and in the UAE. It's not Sheikh Mansour, though, and is the president of the Goan City Supporters Club.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that just made me laugh. Everyone was like, "Oh, Sheikh Mansour's coming on. That's amazing." You know, we did try, but he was a little bit busy. So maybe next week, tune in next week. We might have His Royal Highness Sheikh Mansour live on the channel. You never know. Guys, I want to bring in our guest, who is absolutely amazing for doing this, because you think Alan's on a late one. This guy's on a late one, live all the way from Goa, a very big blue. I wish to welcome Akio. How are you, buddy? Hello, Akio.
Hey, guys. Hi.
How you doing, mate? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm perfect. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's great to have you.
Good. Go on then, Chris. I'll let you start, buddy.
All right, Akio. So tell us a little bit about yourself and Man City in India. Really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, my name is Akio Fernandez. I live in Goa, India, and I'm also the president of the Goan Supporters Club. We started the club back in December 2016, and back then we just started it with about 10 to 12 guys. We had to scan around for guys, look around, find fellow fans, and we're now a family of over 60 people. So that's pretty great. Goa is actually the smallest state in India, so 60 is a pretty big number for us. But yeah, I mean, it's massive, the fan culture here. Everyone regards India as a cricketing state, but football's a very close second, and of late, maybe even at par with cricket.
Really?
Massive fan culture. Yeah, massive fan culture over here. There's people, I mean, to be a fan in India, you need to be really dedicated because games happen throughout the day, most of them in the night. Your Champions League and your Cup games happen at about 12:30 a.m. and finish at about 2:30. During the daylight savings, it's 1:30 a.m. to 3:30. So you're going to sleep at around 4, and then you got to get up at about 8 or 7 for work. So yeah, you got to be pretty dedicated to be a fan here. But it's been going great. City's recent decade of success has built up massively. People have fallen in love with the club. People have become diehard supporters, and it's going great.
Brilliant. So over there, is it pretty much like everywhere else? It's Man U and Liverpool are the two main, teams.
Yeah, dominated by Manchester United and Liverpool. There are a lot of fans from the 90s. I don't think the Premier League was telecasted much here in the 80s. But we used to get football, we used to get the World Cups, we used to get the Euros and everything. But the Premier League globalization started somewhere in the 90s, mid 90s. So naturally, we have a lot of Manchester United and Liverpool fans. I've got a lot of Manchester United and Liverpool fans in my family as well.
Yeah.
My dad, my brother, and I are the first City fans. So yeah, dominated by Manchester United and Liverpool. There's a lot of Chelsea and Arsenal fans, and I think at the end of the pile would be the City fans. But we're happy. We are very happy to be the small family that we are.
Brilliant.
Yeah, good. I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I've met you personally, and I've also met your dad, who pair of you absolute brilliant lads. I mean, me and Andy were meeting your dad, and your dad was inviting us over to Goa for dinner and everything. It was absolute top people. And Andy just wants to know, hello, Akio, how's your dad? How is your dad, Akio?
Oh, he's doing fine. He's just super frustrated at the moment with the whole international break. He just can't wait for City to get back in action. And we also saw, we ended the weekend with a really good game, the Aston Villa Liverpool game. So he was pretty frustrated that there's such a big break in between. So hopefully we can start with a big Everton win on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. So, Akio, you did know, I remember, I did want to ask you this because I do remember you telling me and Andy a really interesting story about, don't you have to travel quite some way to go and watch Man City games live? Don't you get up at really, I know we have Alan gets up in Australia at really daft o'clock, but I think you're doing the exact same, aren't you? From what I remember.
Yeah, I think the people in Australia have to get up early morning to watch their matches, like at about 7 or 8 or something like that. But for us, our sleep schedules get absolutely wrecked. And now in the whole pandemic that's happened with games happening every 3 days, because what would happen usually is we'd sleep late once a week because of a game. But now with games happening every 3 days and most of them being 8 p.m. kickoffs and stuff, especially since Project Restart, all our games have been at 12:30 a.m. So that's been pretty late. And like I said, the games finish at about 3 and we got to go to sleep, get up for work the next day. And once it gets into daylight savings, which is at the end of the month, I think, it gets even crazier because the games kick off at 1:30 a.m. and finish off at about 3:30. So we sleep at 4, get up at work for like 7 or 8. That's just 3 hours of sleep.
Wow,
that's some dedication. What? When did you start supporting City then?
I started supporting City in 2008, directly when the takeover happened. So as Chris mentioned, I was born in Abu Dhabi and I was living there. I grew up watching a lot of cricket and a lot of football. but I didn't have any reason to. Back then in Abu Dhabi, the football was pay-per-view. Like, you would not get the channels. You had to pay an additional fee to subscribe to the channels, and it was quite a fee at that time. And it doesn't really make sense unless you actually support a team and follow a team. But back then, I had absolutely no reason to support a team. I was just an appreciator of football. I used to watch international football, the World Cups. I had my few favorites at every team. I liked David Beckham at Manchester United. I liked Fernando Torres. But I never really had a reason to support a team. And I never, as I said, we never had the channels as well. So I didn't have a reason to keep following the games either.
Yeah.
And then in 2008, when the takeover happened, that was like a massive wave in Abu Dhabi. As it is in Abu Dhabi, I mean, in the whole of UAE and all these Arab countries, they just live, dream, and breathe football. Like, for them, for these Arab countries, it's all football. Like, you don't really see them in sports like cricket and tennis and, blah, blah, blah. It's just football for them. They're just absolutely football crazy. And when that takeover happened, I still remember the mail I got from my dad on the day of the takeover. I got an email saying that Manchester City Football Club has been taken over by Abu Dhabi Group. And, at that time, the wave that swept across the nation, I'd say like almost 80% or majority of all neutrals just decided to start following City and start seeing their matches. Their matches also started getting telecasted more often. Now, obviously, the top teams would be telecasted, like your United, Liverpool, Chelsea. But since the royal family took over and the Abu Dhabi United group took over, all the locals in Abu Dhabi and all the people who wouldn't really support a team started feeling a sort of attachment to that team. Games started being telecasted a lot more. They also did some promo with where they had bought Gareth Barry. They had brought Gareth Barry, I think Tevez, Santa Cruz. They had bought them in association with Etihad to Abu Dhabi for a promo at a mall. So again, all those kinds of things really spiked up the interest over there. And I mean, I just took it from there. I'd just be watching City games every now and then. And 1 year after the takeover in 2009, I moved to India. So we had to pack our bags and leave back to India during the whole financial crisis that happened in 2009 all over the world. Yeah. So once we moved back to India, my mom, my brother, and me moved to India, and my dad stayed back to work. So both of us kind of got much more into City once we separated. Since he had no family with him there, his only joy, like every week, would just be watching City games week in and week out. And for us, making such a move to India from UAE, not having friends, getting slowly adjusted to new life in India, City became kind of like our, passion, pastime, and entertainment. So we try and keep up as much as possible. Games weren't telecasted here as much as it was in UAE. In India, they weren't really giving much importance to Man City compared to UAE. But every time there was a derby or every time there was a Chelsea game, Arsenal game, Liverpool game, we'd have the chance to watch. And once we won the FA Cup, things spiked up from there. They started telecasting the team more. Then we won the league in 2012, and people started taking City really seriously. So I guess the rest is history from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you get to see every game if if it's on? Do they televise every game?
Yeah, it's much better now. They usually telecast almost every City game, and if they don't telecast it, there's an online streaming app which you pay just about £5 for the entire season for all 380 games.
Wow.
Yeah. So if it doesn't telecast on TV, you can just watch it online. So shouldn't be a problem at all.
I'm just going to have to bring in, gentlemen, Lot of Fairs, thank you very much for your super sticker. That is much, much appreciated. So a little bit like just there, Akio. I mean, us over here now, the Premier League have come up with a lovely idea of paying £15 a game now. A game.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they've come up with that. It just shows you that even though it's our league in this country, we're the ones getting mugged up in our own country for it. It's an absolute joke. It really, really is, and I just find it amazing. I do want to go on to Akio and ask you a big quick, because like you are the president of the Goa supporters branch, aren't you, over there?
Yeah.
How many supporters, how many members have you got? And tell us a little bit more how you got involved into that.
Yeah, so right now things have really shot up. Like I said, we started in December 2016. So we just started with a measly 13 members. And then we had to do a lot of scouting. There were City fans, of course, but we just had to find them around. And with all the advertising and promotion that we did, we managed to double it the next year to 30. Then the following year, we took it up to 45 and then 50. And now we're almost at 60 this year. So we have about 80 to 90 people on our WhatsApp group where we discuss on match days and have conversations. But for our official signed up members, we have about 55 here right now. So things are going really great. It was quite difficult in the start to just gather up people. But eventually we were able to do it. We got a bit of a push from the Under-17 World Cup that happened in India in 2017. The England team, there were games over here, but the England team was not actually playing in Goa. But for one of the knockout games, they were playing, I think, Japan in the round of 16 or something like that. And if they had won that game, they were going to face USA in the quarterfinals in Goa. And they happened to win that game on penalties, and they came here. And we were buzzing because we got at that time, there was Phil Foden in the Under-17 team. Jadon Sancho had left the team to join Dortmund back with club duties. And we had two other players. We had Curtis Anderson, who's an academy keeper. And we had Joel Lotibaudier, who's also I think he was the captain of the Man City academy team. So we had the chance to meet them. And once we met them, we had a nice little article that came out in the newspaper. And it was like headlines that said, Goa citizens meet young blues. And I think that article really gave us a huge push because it reached out across the whole state. And everybody came to know there was a supporters club. And we had the opportunity to meet the first team player like Phil Foden. So we had a few pushes like that. Man City also gave us a lot of chances. They've been, I've never seen a club like Man City pushing out global content. Man United doesn't do it. Liverpool don't do it. I've never seen a club give this much importance to global fans. We've featured in a lot of videos that have appeared on Man City's YouTube channel. During the FA Cup final games, they have all the branches written in the dressing room behind the players where they sit. So a small little Goa would be there behind the players. And the kind of opportunities that City gives us, I've never seen any club do anything like that. And that's brilliant because it's really helped us get to the point of where we're at today. Brilliant.
That's really good. So are you in contact with other states in India with City supporters groups?
Yeah, we do have a WhatsApp group with all the heads. Back when we were official, we were just the third official supporter club in India. And now we have about 15 official supporters clubs. So in about 4 years, we have about 15. So it's going pretty good. And we just have 28 states in India. So that's like about half of India has a supporter club now.
That's really good. It's good to see that growing, because, obviously foreign investment and foreign fans are becoming a massive part of Manchester City, which when me and Martin back in the 80s and 90s, it just wasn't happening. It was very much a local thing. And I know you're watching these, right, Mark?
Yeah, well, I wasn't around in the 80s or 90s, mate. I'm only 21.
All right, yeah, whatever. But it's it's interesting to sort of see City taking this new route, really, because for some of us it is completely. This is what United used to do, or Liverpool, or your Arsenals, and sort of we're pushing our way up steadily, and it's nice to see, that we're getting attention away from Manchester. It's a really good thing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I second that. I mean, it just. Sorry, I thought you were going to ask a question then. It shows you how much the fan base global has grown We've got you from India. We've got Carl in America. Alan in, I know he's in Australia, from Manchester, but he's met other Australian people that want to support Manchester City, which is just amazing. And we've got the City footballing group that own all these clubs around the world. Now, that's what I was going to go and ask. You are pretty big on Twitter, aren't you? From what you have, I think it's 5,000 followers or so.
Yeah, I've grown super quick. My first account got suspended back in December because of I used to post some football goal videos and stuff, and then I got 3 strikes for posting football videos, and my account got suspended in December. So that's when I had a backup account. I decided to start using it. It's just been 8 months, and it's grown up to about 5K. I think I think the majority of it's just been rattling a lot of Liverpool and United fans. So I think that's the majority.
I have noticed. I do have a little nose sometimes at your Twitter, and you do like to wind these Liverpool and Man United fans up, don't you?
I have all my stats ready. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, totally. I will say that. I think it's absolutely amazing, and I will say, some of the things you write on there is spot on. It really is. Of course, you get some idiots on Twitter, as we all know. They're out there, these keyboard warriors. But the way you conduct yourself on Twitter is absolutely amazing. I just got a question. You came over and you had a chat with me and Andy last year. And I think it was, as I remember, your first time in Manchester, as I remember. Talk us through that.
It was,
How was that experience for you coming over? I mean, apart from talking to Andy and myself, and, I'm only joking, but how was that experience to be at the Etihad live, see the team, everything?
Yeah, great experience. We were actually looking for a week where we could get 3 games in a row, because it's pretty expensive to come all the way there, and the amount of money you need to travel and spend, and the whole currency difference, it's pretty expensive. So we thought, if you're going to come all the way, you might as well do as much as you can. We couldn't get a Wembley trip, obviously, but we were looking for a week where we could have 3 games in a row, and luckily we did get that 1 week where there was Palace away, Atalanta at home in the Champions League, and Aston Villa at home. And we touched down on the 18th, which was the day before the Palace game, or was the 17th, I can't remember. So we touched down. We were blessed with a little bit of rain on our arrival. So it was freezing, and there was a Greg's at the Manchester airport. And the first thing I did was get myself a steak bake. And I posted a picture of that on my Twitter, and everybody just went mad. And I had tons of comments, and everyone was like, respect. And from that moment, I realized what a big thing Greg's is for all the locals in Manchester. Yeah. So everyone was like, respect, mate. You've gone up in my books and all of that.
Yeah.
Did you get to try anything else? Did you get chips and gravy?
I did get a chance to try chips and gravy. I wanted to go to the chippy that was just outside the Etihad Stadium. I think it's Main Road Chippy, but I didn't get the time to. Yeah, I didn't get time to get to that. We touched down the day before the Palace game. Yeah, I did try it. We touched down on the game. We touched down the day before the Palace game, and we didn't have any time at all. Actually, the jackets that we got over from India were not good enough for the kind of weather that it was over there, and we really wanted to get the club jackets as well. So the first thing we did when we touched down from the airport was go straight to the Etihad Stadium, and we went straight to the club store, and we got ourselves a couple of Man City jackets. I had an away jersey with me that I wanted to get Rodri printed on the back, so I did that as well. Dad got his jersey printed too. We pulled out our Goa banner outside the stadium, got that picture in, because that wouldn't be possible on a match day. So since the stadium was nice and empty, we got a picture in.
Wow.
And that was our first day in Manchester. We just went to bed, and we got up early morning at about 7:30 a.m. We actually took the supporters club coach to Croydon, um, and our friend Mike was there with us. Mike is our friend who we met here in Goa, big Man City fan. So
Yeah.
he helped us out when we went there, and yeah, there was. So we got up in the morning. We went at 9 a.m. to the Etihad Stadium. We got on the bus. I think it was about a 6 or 7 hour journey to Palace. We were there about 2 hours before kickoff. Got to
I've
see
done that journey. It is
yeah,
horrendous.
Selhurst Park is the worst ground to get to, I think.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah. No,
nightmare.
and
But
on the way there, when we were going there, I mean, when we were experiencing the journey, the only thing in our mind was, I hope we don't lose today, because the journey back is just going to be 10 times worse if we don't
yeah.
get that win in. But it was a great
But
day. Sorry.
that I think Palace fans are great at Selhurst Park. It's a traditional old stadium, and they make plenty of noise. You know, it's a decent away day, I think, and they're fairly nice fans as well. To be fair to them,
Yeah,
and
decent fans. They do have that whole standing section that's always jumping up and down and
yeah,
making the most noise and banging their drums and stuff. But good stuff. We got a good dose of the Crystal Palace atmosphere, and the away fans were brilliant. It was not a lot of people who travel from abroad get the chance to do an away day, and I was absolutely blessed to have that chance. And
Yeah.
to be singing with, and I'm not a guy that sits down. I love standing up the whole game and singing, so I felt quite at home in that whole away atmosphere, and it was great. I think Gabriel Jesus scored the first goal, David Silva scored, and he's my favorite player, so that was like a dream come true. And something I didn't know about the Palace, I didn't realize how close the pitch, the fans are to the pitch. So before
Yeah.
kickoff, when the players came out to train, I went right down to the bottom seat, and I was just about 5 or 10 meters away from the players, so I could get really good pictures. They were right up close in front of me, and that was brilliant. And yeah, great away day. We won the game. We got the 3 points. The journey home, the home was good, and yeah, we had a few 2 days in between, and then we had the Atalanta game. Again,
Yeah.
Champions League atmosphere, completely different. It was in the night
yeah.
as well, so it was freezing in the night. And
Welcome to
I got my,
Manchester.
yeah, totally welcome. Um, yeah, I saw the whole away fans marching in their big group, being escorted by the police on their horses. That was a great experience. I got into the stadium much more early than like at least an hour before the game, and these Atlanta fans were pretty crazy. I've never quite seen fans like that before. Even when their team was training, they were jumping and bouncing up and down and making a huge noise. And again, another great game. A very good team, Atalanta again, all
Yeah.
tall,
Yeah.
physical players, but and we managed to get a 5-1 win over there. Again, to see those away fans jumping up and down and waving their scarves around despite losing 5-1, that was brilliant. And all in all, it was a great Champions League night. I couldn't ask for anything better. And yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Akio,
2-3 days later.
Sorry, I've
Yeah.
got a quick question. Did you boo the UEFA anthem at the start?
Oh yeah, I did. As soon as the UEFA anthem played, I was booing it and I recorded it as well. So that's the one great. I think that's my moment of 2019. I still have that on video, recording the entire stadium packed to the rafters, everybody booing the anthem. There was a great moment that.
And then the final game was the Villa game, which, if I remember rightly, was a horrible day, rain-wise. So you got some.
That was. Yeah, that was just horrible because actually, before the Villa game for about 4 or 5 days, it had not rained in Manchester at all. It was just sunny, and I never got any rain. And I remember everyone on my Twitter messaging me saying, "You need to stay here, mate. You've bought the Goan sunshine with you, and it's not raining. You bought," and we were winning as well. These 3 games were just after we had lost there was the international break, and before the international break, we had lost to Wolves. So people were really happy because they were like, "You're come to Manchester, and there's good weather, there's good results. You really need to stay here." And unfortunately, on that Villa game, it was absolutely pissing down.
It was a
It was
horrible day.
freezing. My shoes were soaked, my jeans were soaked, and
Yeah.
I thought I came prepared, but I wasn't prepared at all. But
No,
yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, and you
I-
got to
I-
meet
Go on, mate.
me and Andy as well afterwards. So it was a great day overall. And Guy, I will say, go and check Akio and his dad. Actually, I think as I remember, have a fan cam on from that game as well. So if they go back on the channel, they can watch Akio and his dad having their fan cam on their first ever trip to Manchester. Great. Go on, Chris. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say that I sailed home from Manchester that day. I'll never forget. Yeah, I'll never forget it, mate. That was not a pleasant journey home.
Hang on. I thought you were a fan.
Listen, listen. I'm not saying anything, mate.
Akio, I've got to jump in and ask this. Talked earlier about you in a huge Twitter account and follow him. At the end, I would like you to share your Twitter account out to our followers so they want to follow you. But
Sure.
you've had some interesting interaction with a certain Manchester City player, haven't you? Mr. Bernard.
Bernard.
Go on.
Yeah.
Tell us what it is, what it's all about, and why you did it all. Go on. I'll let you explain what it was all about and what you did.
Yeah, that moment's been a pretty huge moment. People now just recognize me as the guy that has taken Bernardo all around the world. There was a break after the Premier League finished and the Champions League, and now Champions League game versus Lyon. So it was quite a long break, and it was a pretty frustrating break, especially because we had about we had a game every 2 days during that whole project restart time. So there was this really long break, and it was super frustrating to wait for the Lyon game. And I just came up with this idea. There was this picture that I had in my camera of Bernardo sitting on a football. I think it was during training, just waiting for the training to resume and sitting on his football. And I just thought, I've done a lot of Photoshops before, and a lot of Photoshops that I posted on Twitter that have been quite a few hits. So I just thought, why don't I just pass my time? And I decided to do a thread where for every 10 likes I get on the thread, I would Photoshop that exact picture of Bernardo sitting on a football in a different country. So there's about 185 countries, and I never expected it to get that big. I thought I'd get a few likes, and I thought that this would go on for months probably. It went quite quick. I got about 200, 300 likes. But even then, that was just about 20 to 30 countries, so it was doable. And then the next morning, Man City replied to the tweet and then retweeted it. And then all hell broke loose. It jumped from 500 likes to about 2,000 likes. So 2,000 likes is about 200 countries, and we've just got about 185. So that was done and dusted from there. I had to do all 200 countries. And since Man City retweeted it, I had a lot of people from all over the world started replying and tweeting. There were people from Nigeria asking me to Photoshop Bernardo in Nigeria, people from Hawaii, people from USA, people from Algeria. They were just giving me monuments and landmarks from their countries and saying, can you please put Bernardo here? Can you please put Bernardo there? And I thought, why not? Like, let me just do this. There was about 4 days to go for the game, and I targeted to do it within 3 days. So that would be about 60 Photoshops a day. And I thought, why not? Let me just go ahead. Let me do it. And I did it. And every time I hit a country where we had other players, like Algeria or Germany, I started Photoshopping other players into it as well. Like when we came to England, I put Bernardo on the street in Stockport, and I put Sterling like cooking a barbecue, and Stones, Walker, and all the English guys. So that started attracting a few more people. And eventually, after 2 days, when I reached Portugal, I decided to Photoshop Bernardo, Joao Cancelo, and myself in, um, I can't remember the place, but it was in Portugal. And that was, I think that was about 150 countries or so at that time. And then later that night, I just happened to get a like from Bernardo Silva, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't know whether it was real or what. And I was, but there were like hundreds of notifications at that time. My phone was absolutely going absolutely crazy. I couldn't keep up with any of the notifications. So w- while I happened to be scrolling, I saw that Bernardo like, and I'm like, wow, Bernardo like. But I had another 100 notifications to go through. So I'm scrolling, and then boom, is like this reply from Bernardo. And Bernardo replies to the tweet and goes like, wow, that must have taken some work. So that was absolutely brilliant. Like, I put a lot of time and effort into that. Of course, Man City backed me up into doing that, but I got a reply from Bernardo, and 3 days later, I ended up finishing the thread. And it was massive. Like, up to this day, I still have people messaging me on Instagram telling me, "Aren't you that guy who took Bernardo all over the world?" And recently, I did an interview with Man City about 3 days back, and Abigail from the social media channels who does the Insta stories and stuff for Man City. So we were doing an interview with her, and then she immediately recognized me and she said, "Aren't you that same Akio that did the Bernardo thread?" And I was like, "Wow!" So the thread has really reached places then. But yeah, that was brilliant. I didn't expect that to happen, and I can't believe I photoshopped 190 images in 3 days. I don't even know how I did that, but yeah.
You got too much time on your hands there, Akio. I'm telling you. No, it's
A lot of
absolutely.
time. Yeah.
It was brilliant, and I tell you, I bet you're famous in the dressing room right now. I bet you are the talk, the
I
area at
hope
the end.
so. Yeah.
I tell you, absolutely spot on, mate. I've got a couple of people I just want to bring in. It says, Danny Tourme, is Akio looking for new members on his WhatsApp group? He wants to know.
Yeah, there's always space for people on the WhatsApp group. Yeah.
It's me. He wants to join the group. They're all wanting to join this WhatsApp group. He might end up with about 500 people by the end of this.
Yeah, I might have to start charging everyone a small fee.
Hey, I'm telling you. So, have you got any questions, Gloom, before we move on to the more recent topics of Manchester City?
No, let's get on to City now. Come on, let's do it.
We get on to it. Akio, Man City.
Yeah.
How do you think we've started the season?
I think by our usually high standards, we've not started that well. But by general standards, I don't think we've done too bad. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but by general standards, I don't think we've done too bad because we had a great start against Wolves. We played Leicester, and despite getting whooped 5-2, if you actually had to look at the stats, it was pretty even. We had almost the same shots on target. Possession was great. Everything was great. It's just that the 3 penalties and 2 really good goals separated us. And then the Leeds game again was a really good game. It was a good tactical battle. It was a good game, but we couldn't win there. So um, I think by general standards, I wouldn't say we've done too bad. But considering Pep has been at the club for 4 years now, and we have a bunch of players who've been playing together for so long, we could have done a bit better for sure.
Were you happy with the? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Were you happy with the transfer activity, Akio?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty happy. At the start of the window, I wanted Koulibaly because I think because we have gone down the whole young potential centre back route for many years now, and we have more or less failed with Mangala, Nastasic, John Stones. John Stones, of course, has a lot of potential, but he keeps getting injured all the time. But I'd say overall, we've quite failed with the whole young potential centre back route. And I thought that City were ready to go for a whole, like a slightly veteran, older, experienced age. And in that age group, I don't think anyone's better than Koulibaly. at the moment. So, but I'm totally not disappointed in Ruben Diaz because I think he's a great defender. Um, Very mature, very solid at the back, fluent in English, so he's definitely going to communicate well with the team. And he's captained the Benfica team at all the youth levels, so it's going to be great. Nathan Ake is a great centre back. Again, he's still quite young. He's proven in the Premier League, and he's been developed at Chelsea as well. So he's got, and Netherlands too. So he's got good qualities. And yeah, I have a lot of hope for Ferran because, like I said, I watched the Under-17 World Cup live in India, and he played for that same Under-17 World Cup. He even scored in the semi-finals in India, and he has a lot of potential. So I think overall the window was pretty good. A lot of people would argue that we should have had a left back, and I still think that we should have probably bought a left back. I think the championship window is still open right now, and I still think we can get a left back, but I honestly don't think we will. I think Pep's going to stick with Zinchenko and Mendy, and worst case, push Ake into that role.
Yeah.
I think, we saw at the end of last season Cancelo fill in that gap as well, and he did quite well defensively. So I don't think we're short at left back.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe.
So there again, Martin.
Maybe a bit short quality.
I wouldn't disagree.
Anyway, what do you think of the criticism that's come towards the team and City and everything else? Do you think it's but you sound like very much like the way I've thought is it's not a bad start. Not a bad start really, considering it's a bit of a different season, shall we say? Bit of a topsy-turvy season. Do you think people are just panicking now?
Yeah, I mean that's something I've been doing on Twitter a lot. It's kind of like a whole burning room around me. Everything's burning to flames, and I'm just sitting there on my chair and I'm watching everything because that's kind of how it feels these days as a positive City fan, because everybody just goes into meltdown mode with lineups, with transfers. If someone drops some mistake in a match, then again people are going crazy and slating him and abusing him. And aside from what I said about the whole having a good start and having a decent start and just not being able to get the 3 points, we also have to remember it could have been a lot worse. We had about 8 players out in the first 2 games. Gundogan, Laporte, and Mahrez had tested positive for COVID. Aguero, Jesus injured, Bernardo injured, Zinchenko injured. And I don't think a lot of teams would have done much better than what we have done so far with that many injuries and players out. So I don't understand the whole meltdown and everybody going crazy, because if we had a fully fit team, which Pep had used to his disposal, and then we had the results that we had right now, I can totally understand the meltdown. But when you have about a quarter of a squad missing, that 2 crucial players, we literally don't have a striker. We didn't have Laporte initially, Mahrez, Gundogan. I mean, teams can't really function like that. So I think we should save the meltdowns for when we have a fully fit team and then start screwing up, because right now I don't think so.
I think that's fair dues.
Mom. I'm just going to comment while you ask your next question, Mr. Gloom.
I was just going to say, Aki, I think the lack of pre-season as well has caused us not to be at our best, And I think Carl there bringing up, he said 4 points away at Wolves and Leeds is a pretty good outcome, really. They're not too easy grounds to go to. So the home match against Leicester, like you said, was a bit of a freak game. I can't remember City giving away 3 penalties away at home. Just some daft individual mistakes, which we've had sort of last season, and creeping in again. But this can happen. But I think I totally agree with you. This isn't the time to be getting down on everything.
No.
One thing that I did want to bring up from today that's come out is Project Big Picture. I don't know if either of you have had a look at this, but this is proposals to change the English game. It says it's been driven by Liverpool and United, but they expect City will be in favour of it. And I wonder how you feel about this, because we're talking about some major changes. They're talking about reducing the league to 18 teams, scrapping the EFL Cup in its current format, scrapping the Community Shield, then giving the English Football League a £250 million rescue package and 25% of annual income after that. A gift of 100 million, it could be called a bung, and a change to the 14 club majority voting system, which is the main concern for me. And this is all being mooted for the 22-23 season. I don't know if there seems to be a lot of opinion on it so far, when it's only been, it's only sort of been leaked today. I wonder if either of you got any
leaked.
Have you got any thoughts on it? Any concerns?
Go on, Aki, I'll let you go first, buddy. It's your evening, mate.
I mean, I right now I'm not giving too much thought to it, because it's just the same usual bullshit that's always there. It's just the top teams against us as always, and I mean, it's very, very well crafted, like the way it's put out and the way it's put through. There are a lot of people who'd look at it and say, wow, that's brilliant, that's good, that's this. But if there's someone who's really technically minded and stuff, and you look at that, you can kind of see the whole agenda that's happening there. And I did read something about the top 7 or top 9 teams. The most senior 7 teams or something will have a say, which from that perspective, we should be quite all right, because we were established back in 1880, and we just changed our name in 1894, so that was great. But then I did see that there was a further clause to that, where they said the 6 traditional top teams or something like that would have a further say into that. So it's rubbish. I mean, it's really rubbish. Like right now, football is already at a really low point. Fans are frustrated. We're not getting to see games. We're not letting fans in even at 50%. And despite all of that, they're trying to milk fans even more by making them pay £15 a game that's not telecasted. They're making you subscribe to about 5 to 6 different platforms just to follow the team. And now, aside from all of that, they're going into this. And the bigger picture to the whole thing is not everything that's been laid down on paper right now. Like whatever Chris read just now is not the bigger picture, because that's just one door that's going to be open. Once everybody approves that and accepts that and opens that door, you're just walking into hell, because once they're given that control, there's no stopping what they could do. And I don't know, I fear for the future of football. I don't give much thought to it, but yeah, it just seems shit right now.
Yeah, it definitely is a power grab. You're right. It's a let's give these football league clubs who will find it exceedingly difficult to turn down the money due to COVID.
Yeah,
and but by doing that, these top teams will seize control. And I think the Premier League, by looks of their statement they've come out with, are just as concerned as other people are what the top teams are doing. And we're talking about Manchester United and Liverpool predominantly in this, but nobody should be surprised about it. The Man United and Liverpool have been doing this since the 1980s and probably even before that. This is their attempt to make the most money out of it. So it is really worrying, and it'd be interesting to see what more details come out in the future.
I mean, you are my thoughts on it. I mean, the FFP thing doesn't surprise me, because anyone who's watched that Tottenham documentary on Amazon, I think we all saw the reaction, and the way Tottenham reacted to it when we got found not guilty. I don't think they won off. I think that was the general consensus around the whole of the Premier League of like, wow, how have City got off with this? And I think the way they want to roll FFP, the way the Premier League runs FFP, they want to run it in line with UEFA's, because I know the Premier League, I think you can have I can't remember the exact amount, but you can have a much bigger loss under the Premier League than what you can under UEFA.
Yeah.
And for United and Liverpool, who were two of the biggest pushers of this FFP against us, now want to put into line with UEFA. because they know the Premier League couldn't do anything to us, I think shows that is a little bit of desperation, and we've scared everyone. And this is their way now to try and get us back under control and put United back where they think they deserve to be, which I'd love to say back under a little rock where they all deserve to be. But listen, that's just my viewpoint on it anyway. I'm just going to, what I'm going to do, because we haven't got long with left with you, we know, Akio, you have to shoot. You only had just an hour or so, a little bit less. So I'm just going to bring in some questions from our comment section, if that is all right with you. A lot of lovely comments. I mean,
Sure, totally.
Florida Clear says, Akio, amazing, great perspective. We have got, I'm just trying to think, there was a few down here. Where is it? There it is. Big Morgan. This guy is what Man City supporters are all about. Down to earth and genuine. So, and
cheers, appreciate that.
A lot of people in the comments have talked about City's next manager. Now, I did a video last week where I talked about I think Pep will stay, but there's a lot of rumors now that Poch is being lined up by, Caldoon, Cheeky and Soriano to come in. And there was also the rumour that I heard about for the last 4 years, Poch was after Ruben Dias for Tottenham, and then suddenly he rocks up at City and Poch is lined up ready to come in. From your perspective, is Pep going to stay, or is there something in these Poch rumours from your point of view?
I personally thought that he would stay and that he would extend for at least a year. But I think that the media are milking the situation right now because City aren't at their best. And this is the best time to get hits on their articles about a new manager coming in and all of that. But I honestly think he should stay for a season more. But Pep's a smart guy. If he can see what his ideology and his style is not getting absorbed by the players anymore, he'll definitely leave. And it's not about results, and it's not about I mean, everything has an expiry date. Everything has that best before date. And I think once even I can't get the assistant coach's name, that Rudolfo or something, I forgot his name. But I think he had once said in an interview that when Pep usually sees that the players are not absorbing, everyone has a limit to which they can absorb all the ideas and stuff. And once that stops, that's when Pep decides to make a move. I personally think he would extend for a year, but if he doesn't, then I think everyone's talking about Pochettino, and my personal preference would be Julian Nagelsmann from RB Leipzig, because I think his style and his philosophy and his ideology is very similar to that of Pep's, and he had even said in a couple of interviews that he WhatsApps with Pep very often whenever he needs advice about a game or wants to discuss something. He'll run his ideas through Pep on WhatsApp, and Pep always replies to him. So it depends really on City, because I think Poch is a very straightforward, old school, direct manager, playing straightforward, direct football, and Nagelsmann is someone who really fits into Pep's system. So I think it depends with City and the guys on the board whether they want to go into the same style and the same foundation that Pep has set, or they want to just revert back to the kind of football that we used to play maybe under Pellegrini or even Mancini, which is something that could happen with Pochettino. So, no idea what's going to happen in the future.
Okay, interesting. Mr. Baker, have you got anything you want to ask while I have a quick nosy in the comments?
No, I can't. This question about the next manager, and I'm going to be honest, but I can't even think of anybody that I want to replace him. But one person who came to my mind then was, how about bringing back some of the older players into the actual, not maybe he's the manager, but back into the sort of coaching
roles.
staff. Something like Pablo Zabaleta or Vinny Company. I mean, Vinny, I know, he's got a managing job at the minute, but would you like to see some of those older sort of legends as they are now come back into, and because I think what we might lack a little bit as a team is some fight, and I think Pablo and Vinny might bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have yeah, it's a good question, but and that's what happens when like Pep, you can't really blame Pep. He inherited such an old squad that had an average age of about 30, which was like the oldest squad in the Premier League. And he, within the first 2 seasons, he let go of about 30, 14 first team players. So he had to get them replaced, obviously. But the disadvantage that comes with that is you have a lot of new players, some people who have come to England for the first time, some people who have come to the Premier League for the first time, and a lot of people that don't really get what it means, like, the whole values of Manchester City, or they don't understand what a derby means, like quite like how Zabaleta, Company, Aguero, Otamendi, even Nicolas Otamendi, Tevez, these players knew what a derby meant, and you would really see them give their heart on the pitch, and that's something I haven't seen, especially last season. With a lot of players, I haven't seen the intent and the passion needed in the derby, which is something that we see with United, obviously, because Ole is an ex-player, and it probably gives them a good bollocking in the dressing room and tells them the importance of what a derby is and all of that. So that's something I've not seen, and it's a difficult position to be in because Pep is right now building for the future. He's building for his legacy to carry on even after he leaves. Like, for example, Kyle Walker's got about maybe 1 or 2 seasons max left in him, and then Cancelo's going to take over. David Silva's gone, Foden's going to take over, Aguero's gone, there's Jesus, and there's definitely going to be another replacement striker coming in. So we really have Company's gone, Otamendi's gone, we have Diaz, Ake, Laporte ready to step in. So Pep has done a great job building for the future and all of that. But what happens with that is when you have a lot of new players, they don't really understand the values and the ideologies quite like our old players. So I think the point you brought up about having Company back, having Zabata back in some sort of coaching role, drilling some sense, drilling some passion, drilling some how it feels to play for City, I think that would be really important because that's what we're missing right now. We're missing that slight drive.
I think both of those guys adopted Manchester, and Manchester adopted them. They totally got it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I'm not Amanda. No, not having that.
I'm not.
Andy says, get Damon Green, Tiki Fran and Caldine would be sacked. Yeah, they would be. Out the door. Lot of face, I agree. Bring back those legends so they can influence our guys. Ronnie Beaver, Martin would teach them how to pass, go away, you. What I'm going to do for you guys, I'm just going to put up, if Akio doesn't mind, I'm just going to bob up your Twitter handle, mate, if that's all right with you,
yeah,
Akio.
Sure,
if you,
totally, yeah.
Actually, I've just put it up wrong. It's actually at Blue Wolf _9. Sorry about that. There we go. If you want to follow Akio over on Twitter, it is at Blue Wolf with a capital B and a capital W _09. Go and give him a follow. Absolutely, really, really good viewpoints and opinions, and sometimes some great little debates over there from Akio. I can tell you. I've sat back and I've watched. Some of them I have stepped in and I've told him, to ignore people and everything else. But Twitter is full of idiots. But Akio, guys, go and give him a follow. He's absolutely amazing on Twitter. He is. I think he literally is just short of 5,000 followers. So big congratulations on that, Akio. I was gloating the other week. Grace, anything you want to say before we thank our guest?
I think I've got about 50 followers, Mark. Anyway, Akio, thank you for joining us, mate. It's been really a real pleasure, mate. It's great to hear different perspectives from fans all over the world. So thank you so much for staying up as late as you have done to join us. And, you know, I hope we have a good season.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope you'll be back over not too distant future. I'll get to meet you, and you won't have to put up with those two reprobates. So take care, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Akio,
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
Same for me, Akio. You're an absolute superstar. Thank you for coming on, guys. Akio has stayed up late, especially to come on to this. He is live from Goa right now. I want to say a big thank you to him and a big hello to your dad from me and Andy. I hope he's safe and I hope you're all doing well in this global pandemic we now call the new normal. Well, have a great evening. Thank you. And I pray we get to see you at the Etihad again very soon. Really. But Ronnie says, cheers, Akio. Yeah, so thank you
Ronnie,
so
thanks.
much. Guys, I just want to say a big thank you to my partner in crime, Gloom.
Cheers, Martin.
For coming on. Absolute superstars on this Sunday evening. Come and join us again next week for a brand new edition of the Empty Seat Show, where we will once again have a brand new guest in our empty seat. Come and join us next week and see who that is. But guys, yes, give the video a like, give it a share. Please go back. The intro video we put up at the start is on the channel 2 days ago. It's only 2 minutes or so long. Please go and give it another watch. The contact details are there. These books are amazing, and they are for anyone who struggles for reading, anyone who struggles with dyslexia, anything to do with anything like that. I mean, I am even going to mention them to my school as well, because I think they would be amazing, an absolutely amazing tool to have, especially some of my kiddie winkies who love football, but they would like to read a little bit better. But now they've got a book that I think they might like. So I'm definitely going to give that a push at work. So, but guys, please go over, get a book, give generously, help them, please a lot. It is amazing. The contact details are in the video. I'll go back to the start and have a look at the details on there. I want to thank you to them. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with you probably Wednesday now. I'm going to try and get with you tomorrow. But it's more than likely going to be Wednesday, but I will be back with you then. And also Friday, I'll have another FIFA stream with you guys as well. So it's going to be a busy week here on the channel. But yeah, have a great start to the week. Look after everyone. Take care. And as always, up the Blues. Hope you've had a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care.